First of all, I just want to say thank you. I feel very fortunate to be here in this place with each of you. I see many friendly faces and people that have supported me in many ways, continue to support me, Team Diageo, every day. But I have to say, these sorts of experiences never wear off of me because I'm not a young man, and I am from the great state of Wisconsin. And I always say, when I was in Wisconsin, I never imagined that I would be here, and I don't take it for granted. So I just want to say thank you, Dana, for making it possible. The team at Obelisk, Baroness Chakrabarty, thank you so much for all of that. Also, I think Spark 21 is someone I should mention as well. It's a huge, huge thank you for this evening. And then, John, I do thank you because you have set a standard of eloquence that I will not. But I think the combination of your power and insight is hugely inspirational, even though you are a giant. And I know the impact that you have, not only in this room tonight, but elsewhere. And I just want to say thank you because I know people personally who have been impacted by your thoughts and the guidance and support you provide. So thank you. And so I'll have to do this thing. I am a lawyer, right? So you'll have to excuse me, but I must make clear that the views I express are mine. They are not of any organization such as Diageo. They are not the Bank of England, and they certainly are not Comic Relief. I want you to keep giving to Comic Relief. Do not think I am a testament to the hilarity that you will find in Comic Relief. But I just felt the need to say that. Because actually, I think I'm going to be slightly provocative, not in the same way that John was, but it'll be interesting to see if you pick up on some of those key themes. And so I was asked to talk about a question which was, what can legal leaders do to drive diversity? And at this point, I'm sure, in some respects, people are expecting me to talk about inclusive recruiting, fair work allocation, things like law firm hiring, my panel, perhaps, maybe the general counsel for diversity and inclusion, pathways development partnership, and all of those incredibly important, real things that people do. I'm not going to do that. That's the most you're going to hear from me on that this evening. There are people in this room and that who are better to talk to about that. And that is who you should talk to about it. But I don't want to use my time with you this evening, nor use your time with me to talk about those things. Now, coming back to the question, I have to be honest. And if I'm truly honest, I'm really disappointed that I'm still having to answer that question in 2024. I understand why it's being asked, but tell me, we all know we have not cracked that code. And to me, it's slightly disappointing. And now I tend to be a half glass full type person. Ask my team. I'm always thinking about what's possible. And so when I look at this question, I think there's one of two things that are going on. And one, maybe it's just an impossible question to answer, maybe beyond the wit and capability of everybody in this room to have answered it and to have solved it. We have lots of programs and initiatives, but progress can be slow and labored. I liked the analogy of pushing a rock uphill. That is progress. That is what it feels like, and that's what it takes. And I think we have made progress. We have not necessarily made enough change. So just picking up on what John was saying, I think, and as John was saying, we are also in that way where we do not solve or change that gets to the place we need to. It all withers away too easily on the vine. And I can say in my born home, as opposed to the one I've adopted across the Atlantic, that is what we are seeing. And so we need to get beyond that. So sometimes I tend to think about, well, what's the answer to the question that they want to hear versus the one I want to tell? So I'm going to tell you the answer I want to tell you this evening. And I think it actually just gets to a point that there's an uncomfortable truth, at least in my mind. And that uncomfortable truth is that the intrinsic value of diversity and inclusivity is not understood, appreciated, or accepted, and does not resonate fully enough to drive change at speed or at all. I said something very similar when I was part of the Parker Review in the early days when we were struggling to get traction in the FTSE 100. And that was about trying to diversify boards. And I was being provocative, as I might be provocative tonight. And I didn't see that people actually valued diversity. They didn't take the time, as John was saying, to really understand what it brought to the table. I can't tell you how much I was asked about a tick box exercise, as opposed to people actually stopping and thinking and answering that question. And so tonight, many years on, when I start my thoughts about diversity, inclusion, and driving change, and I focus on the value for driving better performance and creating brilliant outcomes for people and organizations. That's the language that we need to speak about. That's the language that needs to be true in our organizations, because the moment it's not true is the moment it doesn't happen. And we know that value can come in many different ways. There's no unitary answer to what's valuable. What constitutes value for one person, dear sir, will be different to you. How it manifests will be different from one organization to another, but we have to focus on that question. And the value that I focus on, and I try to focus us on in every organization I'm in, is the value that talented, capable, and motivated people bring to an organization, and to the other people within it, and to the consumers, customers, and in some cases, clients, upon which we all rely. For me, the value proposition is clear, and I want every lawyer who's ever hoping to get $1 from me to listen to this. The value of diversity starts with having the best talent. It's not a slogan, it's truth. The thing that separates is great talent. And why would you ever have a bounded view about where that's coming from and what it looks like and who has it? I cannot know as a leader who is going to create amazing outcomes, and I am surprised every day in my business about where they show up and where they come from. But I am convinced that they are coming from people working together in different ways, bringing different things to the table, and that is what I know, so that is what I can speak about. As a leader, all I can do, my whole job, is to create the conditions for that to happen. That is my job. And to create that opportunity for people to excel and go beyond potential. But I have to be willing to take a leap, because potential is not something that manifests itself. It's something that you have to believe will turn into something. And I've never understood why people would want to do anything other than open up that door to as much talent as they possibly could. And at Diageo, going back to the one corporate thing I will say, is it's easy for us, because every single one of you, we want to be one of our consumers. We sell to people all over the world. We have to celebrate them. We have to celebrate with them. We have to resonate with them. So why would I not want to have people help me do that who know how to do that? That is intrinsic in them. It doesn't make sense to me. So therefore, for me, diversity and difference drive better outcomes. Period. Full stop. And if you're a legal leader that wants to drive diversity, you need to spend time being crystal clear about why it's valuable to you. Don't kid yourself. Have the conversation. Be real about it. And if you can't articulate it, believe me, you're not going to be successful at it. Make it clear and simple. My second point is, as a leader, you need to set the rationale, ambition, the path for those around you to walk. That's what we do. We try to create the path for people to follow, but we can't necessarily lead them in the entire way. The great leader steps aside and lets other people take their place and keep moving. My experience has shown me that great leaders, whether it's in DEI or anything else, embody that change. They are a symbol of that change. They know they are. That's everyday change. And it's funny, because I have these words to say, John. Leadership is a full contact sport, hand-to-hand battle, one which requires massive engagement and investment. Are you up for it? I said I was not going to talk about programming, and I won't. But those things are important, and they are available. You need to talk about, in the context of what you're trying to do, how to implement them. But actually, that's the easy bit. The harder bit is being born out of, maybe in John's way, but I'll say not being vocal or consistent. Blue or red pill. We must be consistent, we must be clear, we must be bold, and hold other people to account. Cultural change needs to be able to see who's on the bus and who's not, and be willing to progress with the willing and keep moving forward. One, of course, needs to measure, assess, and evolve. Measurement needs to be tied to outcomes. What are you driving for? What is the so what in what you're trying to do? Be clear about it. You have to be honest. Are you making progress? Are you not? Are you making change? Are you not? Why are you not? Why are you? You have to be honest. And honestly, I really think as a legal profession, unfortunately, we're not honest with ourselves. I think we believe the things we write. I don't necessarily think we take them home at night and wake up with them in the morning. You have to be relentless. There's another word I want to introduce into the equation, which is evolution. I think evolution is a fantastic word. It must be one of the best words that I come across. Be ready to evolve what you do. You have to be engaged in feedback listening, and you have to be able to pivot around achieving that end outcome. And I also want to take a moment for a second, because I've had an opportunity to be a law firm. I've had an opportunity to be in-house. And actually, the dirty word in a law firm is management. Is actually teaching yourself and being taught how to manage and lead people. It is the most undervalued thing in a law firm, in my experience. And the greatest single learning experience I have had in my entire career has been because I was put in position to have to manage and lead people. That is more than 50% of my job. And I was ill-equipped to be able to do it. And so we wonder why lawyers and law firms don't actually make the change they want. Maybe we need to invest in ourselves a bit more about how to actually manage and lead people. And so I think for me, that's a massive area where we have a gap. So then what's left? Well, actual leadership is the answer to that question. And I want to make a brief observation about leadership, and it's not inconsistent with John's view about we call ourselves many things. But again, these views are mine. And it's actually a statement in the report that triggered this that I don't agree with. And I hate disagreeing with reports that I'm up to here to talk to. But it does happen. And there's a sentiment in there that personal choice is really no longer an option when it comes to DEI, and it cites to organizational commitments. So organizations are putting your butt on the line, so therefore you don't have a choice. You need to be a leader in DEI. It takes the choice out of it, the optionality out of it. I have to say, I understand. I humbly disagree. If that were the case, conversations like tonight would just not be necessary. We wouldn't be here tonight if that were true. My experience has shown that leadership is indeed a very active choice and is not dictated by anything else than you showing up that day saying, I'm going to be that leader. And leadership comes in many forms, different skills, capabilities. There are good leaders and there are bad ones that are developed and ones that are developing. However, I can tell you, showing up, as John has said, every day and in every way to provide ambition, structure, guidance, challenge, stewardship, resilience, and inspiration to others cannot be done without a choice to do so. It is not an accident. Therefore, my last words on the subject of legal leaders driving diversity is simple. You are a principal in this. You are not an advisor. You're not outside telling somebody what to do. You are the agent. You are the principal. Make a choice, make a commitment to create success for others. Dedicate yourself to lift up that talent. Do what it takes to do it. I don't know what my day holds every day, but I know I'm going to get through it, and I'm going to get through it with others. I'm going to figure it out. And that's what I'm going to ask you all to do. You need to be vocal, be present, and live in a world of accountability. You are the one who has to be accountable. Those of us in this room, actually, it's odd, are not the ones I need to be speaking to about this. This is the room of fellowship. This is the room of kindred spirits in this journey. But this room is not, and this room is not where the change needs to happen. It's out there. But you need to show up, and you need to commit to doing so when the days are good, when they're bad, when you're happy, when you're sad. Doesn't matter. Show up. Deal with it. Be that leader. Get resilience from the people you work with. And as I said, it's a choice. And I'm asking each of you to make that choice. If you choose to lead and lead through understanding the value of people, the value of their rich lived experience, and the opportunity to learn that they offer you, you'll be the richer for it. And before I close, I just want to leave you with a saying that I repeat to myself on the days where I need focus, where I need resilience, where I am not feeling like the leader that people might need me to be. And it does keep me focused on the importance of that choice every day. And so let me leave you with this. It is not tomorrow that I fear. It is the weight of things that I have done or not done that occupies my mind and I carry on my back. But tomorrow is the opportunity I seek to change those things. And today is the day I can commit myself to that course. So I look forward to witnessing the change you're going to drive and the course that you commit to. So thank you and good evening.